What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Pharaoh from Monte and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monte and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh. Later.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Long Island's #1 broadcast, wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, brought to you straight out of Indie Music Studios in Ronkonkoma, Long Island, New York.
You want to tell me who the fuck you are? Who are you?
Thanks, Jimmy. As you can see, I'm not Monte. This is Bruce from ESO Creative.
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to be filling in for Monte for the next couple of weeks.
Mr. Bruce, welcome. Welcome. Thank you very much, by the way. You are one loyal, crazy mofo. Driving how many hours?
It was about 3 hours to get here.
That's insane. I completely commend you, and I am appalled at your insanity level. Can you teach me something? 3 hours.
Yeah, it was a little bit of traffic.
You found a way around the GW though, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do the GW.
Yeah, but don't tell everybody your secret, because then they'll all wind up on the same road next week.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. What do you got?
Well, first I want to send a quick get well to our friend Mike Amani. Mike, I can't wait for you to be out back here so I can be out there enjoying you guys.
Yeah, Mike is doing well. He's on the road to recovery. Mike, you know I love you, bro. I'll see you soon, man. I'll see you soon. God bless, man. Doing well though.
On the board as always is Jared. Jared, how's it going this week?
It's going good.
Yeah.
Jared doesn't like horror movies.
Yeah, I heard that.
Jared, why do you not like horror movies, bro? You got to explain this one to me.
It's not that I don't like them. I just don't really watch them.
What do you gravitate to if you don't watch a horror movie? What does a guy your age want to watch, want to see?
You know what's new, what's good.
What's
like
new?
Comedy, action.
Okay.
That kind of.
No sci-fi or comic book junkie of any kind.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. You know, rumors are flying. You like Foreigner after meeting the great singer of Foreigner. Is that true?
That is true.
Yeah. What's your take on when you listen to old music compared to today's music?
Old music's a lot better. Today's music is all just it doesn't really sound like instruments or anything. You can tell it's all computerized,
processed.
Yeah, I'm a big instrument guy in my music.
Now that you're hearing the music of Foreigner, are you appreciating who you were 5 feet away from that night?
Yes. No. Now I definitely do.
Nice. So you're no longer cold as ice towards the great lead singer of Foreigner.
Yeah, I wish I re-met him, honestly, because it would be a lot cooler this time.
He's been waiting for a fan like you to come into his life. Oh, God, I can't keep doing this. This is awful, you know. Anyway.
Well, let's do a quick roll call of the chat room. We've got Chris Lee, RJ.
Hello, mate. Hello, RJ.
Lil Patty.
What's happening?
PJ Taints.
Nice.
Roy Batiste.
What's up, Roy? What's going on, brother?
RJ.
RJ. Did you say RJ already?
I might have.
Okay, mate. There might be 2 RJs. I'm not sure.
Alabaster.
Alabaster.
Yeah,
I will turn your face to alabaster when you find your servant is your master. Nice.
Yard Ape 99.
What's up, Yard Ape? What's going on?
And Davio's in the house.
Davio. What's happening?
Ja Will. Jason Moaning.
Nice.
A mess. Man, we got
Mess is in the
almost
house. Very
everybody
nice.
in already.
Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful.
All
So
right.
what do you got for us?
Well,
Since you're driving the bus, stranger, not Monte, might I add?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
What do you got for us, Bruce?
well, first of all, legendary rapper Coolio has passed away at the age of
Oh, boy.
59.
I'm gonna flunk this test. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah, back in 1995, "Gangster Paradise" was an anthem. I don't think there was a radio station not playing that.
Sure.
So
Impact. Serious impact, huh?
yeah, well, on that generation, absolutely.
What kind of career afterwards? Because I can't say that I'm a huge.
I honestly, I can't say that I'm a huge fan either.
so it
I
was
just
like
enjoy,
a huge smash, though, at the very
Yeah,
least. though.
absolutely. Interesting. I
Interesting.
guarantee in the 90s everybody knew his name.
What did he pass away from?
I'm not
does
really
it
sure.
say?
No, but I know that it does say that they were trying to give him
59.
CPR for
Not
about
old
45
enough.
minutes.
Not old enough. 59, not old enough. Hey, look, anyone who has an impact in music gets my respect for the most part unconditionally, automatically.
Absolutely.
So rest in peace. That's a real shame. During the 90s, I was very much in my own band and very much enamored with the Seattle scene. So I was pretty much locked into the Kurt Cobains and the Chris Cornells and the Alice in Chains and stuff like that.
Pearl Jam.
I really appreciated that. It was rock's last great gasp, in my opinion.
I would have to agree.
The so-called alternative scene of Seattle. Good stuff,
What
though.
do you think of
Good
more
bands.
the country scene, though, now? I mean, that's kind of...
Country scene interests me, but I was never a fan of country. I have to admit up front, it's never what's the right word? Grasped? I can't even say it.
Grasp.
Yeah, good luck to me, man. I'm already developing a list. A list? I can't do P's all of a sudden, Becker. Anyway, yeah, no, it's just, it doesn't, country doesn't work for me. Oddly enough, though, folk music does. That's weird. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay, well, to my right is the star of the show, Jimmy Pharaoh.
Hello. What's happening?
And at this time, I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte and the Pharaoh. Our own Jimmy Pharaoh and Bart Griggs are part of the band Wisteria Hall.
Bart, man!
Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as "In My Dreams," "This Life,"
He's doing it.
"Not Far Behind,"
He's trying.
"Here Comes the Rain." You can find their music on...
Go ahead. You're doing good. Keep going.
You can find their music on their YouTube page, Spotify, iTunes, and Reverb Nation.
All right. Yeah.
So is there anything new going on with Wisteria Hall?
Yeah, we're in the middle of making some new tunes in the production process. So we're halfway home. We've got all the instrumental tracks laid out. Now it's time to spit out the vocal tracks and do a little mixing. So we're getting there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
getting there. Third release at this point, when it's ready.
All right. So Monte and the Pharaoh can be seen on YouTube, where we have over 2 million views.
Easy for you to say. Yeah, 2 million.
Yeah.
2
we
million
can be
views.
seen live. We can be seen live on Facebook. We are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV, channel 115. Let's see. In New York City, channel 115.
Yeah, Cablevision.
Every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturday at 11:30
Straight
p.m.
up against Saturday Night Live. Thank you very much.
And then again on Tuesdays on channel 20 at 1 a.m.
Pharaoh time.
We're now part of Amazon Music.
That's right.
And
That's right.
at this time, we'll be back after a quick break.
We will see you in a quick second.
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. BENBUIE34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor. Tell him Wolfie sent you. Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544.
Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, For all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. All right, we're back. How we doing so far? What did the fans think? How we doing?
They're saying Brucey is a natural.
You're a natural? Yeah. Oh, very good, very good. What else you got?
No, PJ Taint says something about the robotic talk.
What do you mean? We are straight out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island.
Hey,
That's hilarious. Wait a minute, Spidey. What did you say? Somebody said there was something hilarious. Spidey, another comment. Spidey saw. What was that?
I think that was it.
Was that was the one? I thought there was another one.
Robotic.
Oh, okay, never mind. Thunder stolen.
Miss Maria is in the house tonight.
Miss Maria,
our
What
first
is up,
lady of
Maria?
wrestling.
That's correct. That is correct.
So, hey, Don the Barber's in the house. How's it going, Don?
What is up, Don the Barber? What's happening? So take us away.
So,
What are we doing?
So
where we going?
Did you get a chance to catch last week's SmackDown?
Yeah, I catch everything on a replay because the Pharaoh doesn't have a television, but I caught it.
So what did you think of that angle with Sami Zayn and the Usos?
Boy, do I love this. I'm sorry, Maria. I can hear Maria right now. Maria hates Sami Zayn. Drives her crazy. I can't say I blame her, but isn't that the whole point of Sami Zayn?
Absolutely.
I love what's going on with Sami Zayn. I love that he's an honorary Us. This is killing Jay, by the way. Jay Uso.
Yeah,
this is just absolute. I love these little storylines within the storyline, right? This is so well thought out and so well written. It's taken its mature time. This is great.
That skit was so well done. You did not know how it was going to turn out.
Yep.
Were they gonna all turn on Sammy? It certainly looked like that, and then all of a sudden they pulled out that shirt.
Right.
That was
right.
just.
And then all those
unbelievable.
underlying other questions, the relationship, the boiling of Jay, leading up to Sammy. Will Sammy reunite with Kevin? Who's been telling him, yo, bro, they don't. There's so many other cool little things that can come out of this one overall big picture. I love what's going on. I think it's excellent.
And that Solo's, he is some monster, isn't he?
Yeah, he's working out. How'd you like that he borrowed an NXT belt for a week? That was interesting, too. I thought that was well done.
Yeah, but it also gave
It was well done.
It gave a little bit of boost to that credibility to that title too.
It did, and it gave him an extra boost. And now look where he is. That guy's got a big career ahead of him, don't you?
Absolutely.
Don't you think so?
That whole family. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the talent that has come out of that bloodline.
It's not fair.
I mean, I hate to.
Why don't they get out of the way and give some opportunity to some lesser deserved unfortunate? Right? Isn't somebody complaining about that?
I'm sure, but
I'm sure they are. Keep eating mom's brownies. There you go.
But then you did have Nia Jax out of that bloodline too. Right?
Nia Jax is horrendous. How did you feel? I couldn't stand Nia Jax. So unsafe. That's why I didn't like her.
Yeah.
I mean, she obviously got the look. I'd run. I wouldn't fight Nia Jax. I can understand. I mean, she came over as like a Samoa Joe. Like, don't mess with Nia Jax.
She needed
but
to keep
too
being
reckless,
built
hurting.
like a monster, and she didn't seem to want to be that monster. But
why?
She was unsafe. That's
Very unsafe. No good. Not at all. No, thank you. Yeah, that works with Sammy. Works for me. I think it's been excellent. And what about Sammy on Raw beating AJ Styles? Sammy's getting a serious, nice little push going on here. I love what's happening here. I don't even think it hurts AJ because I think it's going to later point out, as Finn Balor has been trying to convince AJ, you're no good on your own, bro. You need to be with us. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Sammy and the family, the Tribal Chiefs family, assisted in the defeat of AJ Styles leads credence to what Finn's trying to tell AJ. I love it. Something. Someone's doing something right with the writing over there right now. And they should be given credit for it because usually the WWE gets murdered for this. And they are doing a great job with some major stuff. Dominic is maturing right in front of us, turning into a total prick. Whether you like him or not is irrelevant as a fan.
My favorite
He's
part of
pulling
that
off the role.
Is really
Rhea?
Yeah.
Oh, Rhea is amazing. Rhea is amazing, but we've known this for a long time. Rhea, at the drop of a hat, if Rhea decided they started to book her where she's like, I want every woman's belt out there, she could get it, and I'd love every second of it because she's great.
Intercontinental too.
You know what? Isn't she the most serious thing in decades?
I mean,
when you
she
look
would
at her as far as
dominate.
female domination, forget female domination. How about domination? Let's just go with that because I ain't fighting her. You and me together ain't fighting her. That's a tag team handicap match, and she fucking jobs us out in a minute. We're done.
Absolutely.
We're done. Definitely not Monte or Pharaoh. We're done. What else?
So, Well, PJ Taint, so where do you have thoughts on the supposed Bray Wyatt comeback? Well, PJ, we'll be touching a little bit more on that tomorrow on or Saturday on This Week in Wrestling. But
we can talk about that. That's okay.
Okay,
We can. We can. I believe that the rabbit is Bray, and I think it better be. We can keep this short and sweet. I just feel that it better be. At this point, because just to get quickly to the chase, if it's not Bray Wyatt, you know what the disappointment factor is going to be for fans, because the expectations are that it's Bray. So if it's not Bray, you have to give us somebody who's going to match the expectations of if it would be Bray. I can't think of anybody. Who the hell's going to be inserted into that spot with all those clues, those supernatural clues and stuff, and it's not going to be Bray? Who's it going to be? And don't say the gobbledygooker, because we covered that on This Week in Wrestling, which you could see tomorrow night. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. Any other comments from the fans, or what do you got? Or you want to move on to the next spectacular topic we got ready?
A couple of people commenting on Nia Jax, and Nia Jax would beat Ronda Rousey in a shoot.
Disagree. Understand that she's bigger, but I just feel like if they had a chance to square off, well, you know what? Sure, of course Nia Jax would have a shot, but if Ronda are we talking prime Ronda? Because I have a feeling prime Ronda would take out her knees either by kicking her directly into the kneecap, just cutting off the weight leverage until you're, smaller than the person who's smaller than you. So I think Ronda Rousey in a prime would probably mess her up pretty good, to tell you the truth. Yeah. And, let's not forget, the only thing we've seen from Nia Jax is a sucker punch to Becky's face. That was a sucker punch, okay? So sure, I mean, line me up with somebody and tell me I can throw a haymaker for free. I bet you I'll land too. It'll probably look terrible on the other end. So that's what we've seen, and we've seen her also accidentally hurt a lot of people.
Vince D has a Monte with question marks. Monte will be back in a couple weeks.
Yep.
I'm Bruce. I'm going to be filling in for him for the next.
Mike is recovering from some health a scenario, and he'll be back soon. He's doing good.
So, what did you think of Raw this week?
Raw overall was good. I mean, the shows overall are pretty good. I'm pleased with what Triple H has done overall since he came back. Why, did you have an issue with anybody in general? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I think SmackDown was booked a little better this week.
Well, it better be. It's on a bigger forum.
But Raw, I was a little disappointed to see Edge come back again.
Why?
Well, let's see. I didn't pop because he just came back at SummerSlam.
Okay.
And then 3 months before that, we had all the vignettes building up to him and his return at WrestleMania. And
okay.
I just feel like 3 times returning in a year.
Okay.
Going to the well a little bit too often.
Interesting. I understand where you're getting at, but you did notice one thing, though. Each time he comes back, the place goes berserk. You know why? Because, and I think we discussed this briefly earlier today, but as we were getting ready to do the show, I find this very interesting because apparently Edge has studied The Undertaker's blueprint for when you retire, but don't really truly retire.
You come back for that payday.
And you come back, and you wait a little while, and you come back, and they mark out, and you wait a little while, and he seems to be following The Undertaker's consistent, weekly, type career. He's doing this right, to tell you the truth. I don't mind seeing him come back and do this. It's a great storyline. It's been going on more and more, and they're growing that crop pretty nicely now with Priest and Finn Balor. I think having Finn in charge of it is awesome. I love what they're doing with Finn Balor. So I am very happy. I'm a big time Finn Balor fan. Sorry, always have been.
No, I just, with going back to Edge, it just seems like he said he's retiring next year. So this gives him like 3-4 more times that he can come back.
You think so? You think he'll come back 3 or 4 more times?
I don't know. 3 times this year.
What's the next major event? Where are we? Well, we got to have him for Survivor Series.
Yeah, and then he can go
away.
You
think he's going to go away? Wait a minute. You think he's going to go away like in a week or something and then come back for, hey, I'm back for Survivor, pop again? You know what? It might work. It worked for Taker. When will the fans ever get tired of Edge anyway? And what is it about Edge that makes him so lovable? Did you ever think about that? Because I wasn't a huge Edge fan.
No, I did like the 3-second pose.
That was
him
funny.
Him and Christian. That was funny.
That's tag team, though. As far as Edge, the solo career, the world champion legend Edge, did he ever really?
No, it was
interesting. Same here. That's weird.
He's great. I mean,
I do think he's great, but I never ran out and said I've got to have a T-shirt.
No.
I wonder why that is. Randy Orton, same category?
No, nowhere near.
Okay, you like Randy Orton?
I think Randy Orton. I mean, he is already a legend.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is.
There's no. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Did you have a Randy Orton T-shirt back in the day?
No, but I would be more likely to have a Randy Orton shirt than an Edge shirt.
Who do you think sells more shirts, though? I bet you it's Edge.
Yeah, I would agree.
Wow, strange. Yeah, I'm with you on the Orton thing. I would rather have Randy Orton too, but Edge has got the box office draw. So there's your answer. Doesn't matter how many times he comes back, the fans are going to mark out all over the place. He's Edge. What do you got there?
Oh, there's a chat room. Any thoughts on Flair's last match? I thought it was boring up until the cat fight at ringside.
Flair's last match was, to me, horrible. I prefer to remember Ric Flair as Ric Flair. The real fitting ending was, honestly, and just because it's in WWE doesn't, it really was when Shawn said, "I'm sorry, I love you," and kicked him in the face. And that was his last. That should have been his last match. That was a great way to go out, not this way.
Yeah. Yard Ape says Edge. Ugh.
See, there you go. Yeah, Edge was never on my radar as like one of my favorites. I never found him polarizing enough. I do think he's great though. Obviously, the fans love him. He's great to millions of people, obviously, but I just never saw it. He does have star factor though. I do see that.
When I think Edge, I do think Edge and Christian,
right,
and then the Brood,
right,
and then the solo career of Edge.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's true, PJ.
What's funny though? On paper, they made sure it happened. Edge's solo career is pretty much, it's pretty dominant at this point. He's had 1 million world titles. He's won it over 10 times. I don't know how many times he's held it, but I know he's had the world title over 10 times. That's a lot of times. A lot of times.
Yard Ape says Ricky Steamboat is going to go out and embarrass himself now. I didn't see that. What's he booking his last match there?
Ricky Steamboat is supposedly... You know what's funny? Yeah, I agree in principle. He shouldn't be out there. But you know something? Ricky Steamboat can still go probably better than most guys can. That's what's messed up about it. He can still wrestle. I know he can. Would I really want to see him now? No. There comes a point where it's better to just,
We've got this guy, Bruce Butler Jr. I have no idea who he could be.
He sounds like... No, okay.
Yeah, it says...
what does he got?
I'm laughing like hell at Ric Flair doing commercials for male enhancement products. He sounds like his mouth is full of I don't know what.
Could be full of a lot of things. Woo! What did you... I saw this video of Ric Flair and Mike Tyson standing on a corner smoking a joint the size of like my forearm. I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
That's awesome.
And they were smoking a joint the size of like my forearm. And I'm like thinking to myself, did you ever think that we live in a world, like if I told you 20 years ago, that there'll be a video of Ric Flair and Mike Tyson standing together on a corner smoking pot like it's no big deal? Would you have believed me?
No.
It's amazing.
I mean, just think of your view of Mike Tyson 20 years ago. I mean, he was a monster 25 years ago.
I love
he was
Mike
so
Tyson.
Scary.
He
was intense. He was
always
ready
rooted for Mike Tyson. It was very rough towards the end watching him lose to Holyfield a few times and then Lennox Lewis. That was rough.
But now, that personality that he has now, that podcast Mike.
He's much different, but he still has that classic Mike feel. It's Mike. You think he should have not gotten that tattoo? The one on his, or do you now think it now identifies
it's been there for
him?
so long. I mean,
right. Are we used to it yet?
Yeah, it's been there for what?
Interesting.
25 years?
I remember when he first got it, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Interesting. Okay. All right.
Let's see. I used to be, RJ Hudson said I used to be that way about Edge, but I grew up to appreciate Edge as the years have gone on.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can go with that. I mean, I have found Edge much more believable, and I do accept him more than I did in the early days. To me, he was a bit player until the Brood had the table, ladders, and chairs match. So.
Maria is saying, if wrestlers are retired, please stay retired. Your time is over.
Yeah, I agree. It's painful sometimes. Did I ever tell you that story? I got to give this one out for Mike, too. My favorite is Greg Valentine. So I couldn't wait to see Greg Valentine. So this was only a few years back, and Mike was like, hey, I got his tickets to an indie event. It was at some small place, and Valentine was wrestling. And I was very excited. So we had seats right up front, and Valentine gets in the ring. He's got his robe on. Sure, he looks older, but he's got his robe on. He's still a big dude, And then Mike goes, just wait. And I'm like, what? And then I realized Greg was about to take his robe off at the age of 60, right? And Mike's like, oh, God, no, don't do it. He takes the robe off, and of course he looks older. And I was like, Mike, you've ruined my experience. Until Valentine dropped an elbow, then he was Greg Valentine again. It was very interesting to be visually shocked that, he was much older, but the second he dropped that elbow, he was young again. It was very interesting.
Yeah, we have people agreeing with Maria on people staying retired.
Yeah, absolutely. Maria nailed it.
So,
Like Vince McMahon should have stayed retired. What the fuck was that at WrestleMania? And he wins. He beats Pat McAfee. It's like, what the hell was the
Poor
point
Pat
of all of
McAfee.
this? Yeah, I know. Yeah, poor Matt McAfee. Or Pat McAfee with all that money.
Yeah.
Where's he going now? He's making a fortune now. He left.
what's the deal? He gets
He's
to go
doing
away
college
for
stuff.
He gets to go away for a few months and then gets to
He
come
seems,
back.
he seems to have carte blanche, doesn't he?
Yeah,
They
that's
love
pretty-
his ass. They should love his ass.
He does a great
because
job.
he's the best at what he does. I love his commentary. He grew on me very quickly.
So,
Anything else you want to complain about?
well,
Got to have some complaining.
complaining? Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we were complaining, so let's continue complaining. What do you got?
All right. Well, something I've noticed.
Okay.
It's something in common with AEW and NXT.
Okay.
There's too much gymnastics.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about how high you can jump or how many times you can flip.
You're not? It's a prerequisite nowadays. What are you talking about? It's very important to know your cartwheels and your, horsey. You got to
Yeah,
do the gymnastics of
absolutely.
horse and gymnastics.
I want it to look like someone's kicking someone's ass.
Okay.
Right now, a lot of times it looks like they're waiting for somebody to hold up a scorecard with a 10 on it.
What, to judge the cartwheel?
Yeah, that's what it sometimes seems like. It's
Moonsault,
almost like a
7.
joke. Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly. All right. Can you tell me that? So if you flip once
Yeah.
and you land on me,
Yeah.
all right, that hurts.
Yeah, that would hurt. Yeah.
Right? So now you.
But why would I lie there waiting for you to fucking,
now-
flip once to land on me?
Well, now you flipped.
What did you do to me that I'm lying there waiting for you to have the time to get up to the thing and then do a flippy whippy on me?
But now if I flip twice, it hurts more.
Now you're giving yourself more time for me to just lie there waiting for you to do extra flips.
Yeah.
This
And
is
then
very
guess what
believable.
happens?
Not.
Now guess what happens?
What happens?
Cameraman quickly has to move the camera quickly and then
Right.
flip quickly.
Yeah.
Because he botched the angle anyway and it looked
Right.
like crap.
Nice.
So-
but then you have to sell the impact of it
Oh,
by shaking
absolutely.
the camera upon the impact.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
What's with that too?
How many times do they catch the edge of the arm and everybody falls?
No, I don't like it. That's what. But isn't that what a lot of wrestling is today? Are we just dinosaurs? Have we hit the Jurassic Age?
Yeah, but don't you?
I don't give a
want it to
shit
look-
if we have, quite honestly.
Don't you want it to look like it hurts?
Yeah, it should be that way.
That's.
It seems to me like nowadays, especially in AEW, you have one extreme or the other. Like for example, Brian Danielson and Moxley beating the shit out of each other.
Literally.
Right. To the point.
Literally.
Now, stay with me. Wasn't Daniel Bryan's life in jeopardy from concussions only
Absolutely.
8 years ago?
Absolutely. He
So
had to
why is he
retire.
doing this? Number one. Number two, why are the marks who assassinate the WWE for their cold approach towards not taking care of wrestlers cheering on this shit in their company? Kill yourself, Daniel. Kill yourself. AEW, punch. Hit him even harder. Did you see some of the blows?
they're-
And these marks think that they're representing the best interests of the health of pro wrestling state. Bullshit.
No.
Bullshit. Okay? Because I don't want Daniel Bryan to do this to himself.
No.
And the other extreme is what you just said. Somersault, cartwheel, stand still. Are you waiting for me? Here I come. Why can't there be some more old school stuff? I mean, why?
Tell a story.
Yeah, could you do that? Could I at least get engaged before that toe tap you're going to throw at me? Nah, it's bad, dude. It is bad. But look, one way or the other, whether we like it or not, this seems to be the measuring stick for a lot of fans. Enjoy yourselves.
Well, on that train of thought, have you noticed that finishing maneuvers mean absolutely nothing anymore?
Of course. They happen right away now. You can have what used to be a traditional finisher happen in the first 2 minutes of a match. Kick
10
out,
times.
kick out, kick out. It's horrible. I don't know how you're supposed to. It's so difficult when you watch the old matches and then you watch a new match or a modern match that doesn't have those key ingredients that you grew up to, that are what makes a match work. So it's really frustrating sometimes. But then again, there are modern examples of some of these approaches where I've seen matches that are fantastic. And I guess it's all what you're looking for, too. Some of the greatest matches I've ever seen. And I know Mike would be squirming right now, but they are to me, and it does sound marky, because, I do agree with it. The Kenny Omega versus Okada matches from over in New Japan, I think there was a trilogy. Those matches are like movies. An hour each time, almost.
But where along the way,
it felt like I was watching
build
a film.
And build and build.
Right, correct. So, I mean, I guess it really depends on who you got in the ring and how the storyline's been told. But it seems to be a thing of extremes.
No, I just think that kicking out of finishers should be reserved for big matches and pay-per-views. Otherwise, it really starts to get watered down.
Right. Has anybody ever kicked out of End of Days?
I don't know.
Because I don't think anybody ever has. Baron Corbin was once asked, what's more important to you, finally winning the world title or the fact that nobody's ever kicked out of your End of Days? And he said, I would rather have no one ever kick out of my End of Days.
Well, actually, I think it was the DDP Jake the Snake podcast. They were talking about something similar a few weeks ago.
Right.
They were asking Jake about, everybody kicking out of the DDT like it's nothing nowadays.
DDT's become an armbar now.
And Jake said, that's because they don't do it right.
There you go. Well, nobody was able to sell it like Jake. But then again, nobody had really ever seen one quite like that before with Jake. And it is a face plant at the end of the day. Shame on them for making it become a regular move over the years. Shame on whoever started that movement. That should have been a finisher.
Actually, PJ Tinks just brought that up on here.
Oh, there you go. I mean, the DDT is like the curb stomp with your, your armpit shoving down. Bang. They don't do shit like that no more, or at least they don't put it over. What else you got?
I think Maria's talking about Marty here. Something about him having to have more surgery on his ankle because it's infected.
Again?
Poor trying Marty. To scroll up here to see where this started.
Marty Jannetty or Shawn Michaels?
Marty
Jannetty or Shawn Michaels?
Marty.
Yeah. Why Marty over Shawn? Why? Tell me. I thought
thought
you were a Rockers fan. Are you a Rockers fan equally?
Or,
no.
Like Marty. I was a Marty fan, and that's what it was.
Even then, huh? Back in the day.
From back in the beginning, I thought he had the better look
better look than Shawn.
In the beginning, absolutely. I thought, Shawn had that.
I don't know about that. Shawn, I always thought had the better look, but I felt like Marty was.
But then once Shawn, once they got to the WWE,
right?
That's when I think it kind of you really saw that dynamic switch. And
were you upset for Marty as this was happening back then?
Or
were you basically doing the kayfabe thing when he kicked him through the window? Were you really upset for Marty?
I was. Let's see.
I was like, wow. I didn't care either way, but I thought it was amazing.
I remember him kicking him through the mirror, but I really don't remember how I felt at that time.
Interesting. Interesting.
I was a Rockers fan, so I'm sure I was really disappointed.
Right. Were you a Hogan fan?
I was a Hogan fan.
Yeah, you're a Hogan fan. Wait a minute. I thought you said you loved the Ultimate Warrior. You can't love both. Well, pick one.
When I was 8, 9 years old, Rock and Wrestling came out.
Okay.
So Hulk Hogan was shoved down our throat.
That's right.
You couldn't not be a Hulk Hogan
I loved
fan.
every second of that shoving.
And then we had the Ultimate Warrior come out.
Yeah, he was cool as shit.
And,
he was. But then he messed with Hogan.
I have to say,
you went for Warrior.
I fell for it.
You went for Warrior. Yeah, and I'm sitting there at that WrestleMania, and I'm telling everybody in the room after Warrior won, I'm like, flash in the pan. The future is still Hulk Hogan. Everybody's looking at me like, you're bitter. I was bitter. I was mad. They picked the wrong horse. It was still Hogan. Actually, they did the right thing. They really did. It was Warrior's time. What happened behind the scenes, we didn't have any clue anyway. So Warrior kind of blew that anyway, in my opinion. Should have worked with Vince. Play some fucking ball with Vince McMahon. He just let you beat Hulk Hogan. How much more you want? Right? Greedy! Really? Greedy! Your hero is greedy!
I didn't say he's my hero anymore.
Oh, okay. All right. You're past
when you started to learn about him, and he's holding up SummerSlam for Hulk Hogan wages.
Yeah, that's rotten. And then Vince was like, here's your money. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. All right, so where else are we on to? What else you got?
So, the Elias Ezekiel angle that disappeared.
Okay.
I know it was campy, but I was really enjoying that angle.
Well, you know why he disappeared, don't you?
Well, because
he's growing his beard back.
Yeah.
It's the same person. You know that, right?
No, it's not.
I'm going to call my friend Kevin. He's going to have a few words with you. It is not the same person, and it's taking time for his beard to grow back. And by the way, what more were you going to do with his brother?
Oh, come on. Couldn't you see...
What do you mean, come on?
Could you not see an angle similar to the Killer Bees back in the 80s.
It's one person. You're not going to become a tag team with masks. It's one guy.
All you got to do, you get
It's
someone with
one.
similar body shape. You don't even need a
one
similar
guy.
body shape, because look at what happened with the machines.
You don't need a similar body shape.
No.
So we could get like,
Why?
me. We'll get me.
Listen, the Killer Bees, Brian Blair and Jim Runzel.
Right.
We knew who was who, even with the
Right.
masks on.
Right.
But we still played along with
You
it.
got to find someone that at least looks exactly like the same
Well,
body
yeah,
type.
similar.
Who's it going to be?
I don't know.
Do they have anybody
That's
on the
not my-
roster?
that's not
What
my
about
job.
those Spanish fellas?
What Spanish fellow?
Come on, the tag team that gives flowers to every woman they see. Garza. I can't remember his name right now. It's escaping me. Garza, the good-looking guy. Put him in the mask. This is stupid. This is a stupid idea.
I think it would be awesome. They'd be a great tag team.
No, there
But
was
you see,
nothing
one
more to do with Ezekiel. It's time to go out to pasture and bring back the guitar player.
Now, 1 week they could unmask him, it's Ezekiel. 1 week they unmask him, it's Elias. Come on, it could be.
You know what, though? In all seriousness, even the guitar player thing, which was very over, and will probably be over again for a while when he returns. I'm being serious here. I don't think that I think there's only so far he goes with that. And I felt that way in years past, that there's only so far he's going to go with that. Where's his belts? Did they ever give him one?
No, but hey, that's a perfect opportunity. You could have the tag team
Now?
championship.
I don't want him to. It's one guy. This is not Braun Strowman where he picks the referee's son. He's not that tough. We can't do that. Wait a minute. What if he makes his guitar his partner?
There you go.
Now we're on to something. And he could use him as a foreign object. Tag him in. And, dude, this is getting... Move on! What's next? Please! Oh, my God.
So,
next.
AEW on Friday night.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to watch it?
No, because I don't. Because I think it's a lousy program and I'm just not into it. Why? It was like, let me guess, was the Muta Wheeler guy on? Or something?
I don't know. I turned it on.
The Wheeler guy.
I had it on for a little bit. The promos were horrible. The matches weren't well booked. I couldn't sit through it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, it's not really. You think they'll cancel it soon? It seems to be taking Thursday Night Thunder WCW's.
It's just bad. I was just so surprised. So surprised at how bad it was. I couldn't. I tried.
You
That's all I can
tried.
say. I
You and
tried.
about what, maybe 100,000 other people, because the ratings are going down and down. Do you think
very
that it was
quickly.
too ambitious to decide to launch so quickly in their history a second show?
Well, when there's so many other ways to put media out there, yeah, why jump on a network?
Right. I don't know. Maybe they just felt like, if the opportunity was there, take it. And you know what's funny? Wasn't the debut show CM Punk for Rampage? Mm-hmm. Got 1 point something million viewers, and now it's down to 0.1 something viewers. What does that say about CM Punk? No, seriously.
Not much.
You think they should let? Well, you think they should let him go with everything that's going on? Would you let go of CM Punk? Honestly, he's the reason people even talk about the company half the time. Would you really let that go? No
But
matter.
is he actually drawing anything now?
Right this second, he's not even. He's suspended. But all I'm saying is that he's drawn so much attention to the company. I'm wondering if it's wise to choose some of the guys in the company who are never going to draw what he does. Even now, he's still a drawer, is what I'm saying. If he came back tomorrow with like some swerve and Tony Khan's with him, although I think that's going to be MJF's thing. I think Tony Khan's going to run off with MJF, quite honestly. Like, we got you all.
Maria's getting a little tired of the Usos.
Interesting. Okay. Who is worthy to take the belts off the Usos? Got anybody? The Street Profits.
I think the Street Profits.
It's the only one to me that is,
yeah.
But how many times have we seen it? We're going to see it again? Yeah. Are we waiting for Randy to get back and team with Riddle or something? I mean, what are we waiting for?
Well, I think that's not going to last either, because once they come back, Riddle's going to turn on Randy. I think Riddle's going heel this time.
You know what the biggest... Riddle's going heel. Man, oh man. That should be interesting. I do wonder what it would be like if he dropped the Sean Penn gimmick. No, I do. Don't you ever wonder about the other side of Matt Riddle, like the serious side? I would love to see... Yeah, because you saw it for a brief second in that exchange with Rollins where he was insulting his wife and stuff or whatever, his family, his ex-wife. Yeah. You saw the anger, and I thought to myself, wow, Matt Riddle should drop the stoner gimmick.
Yeah, I agree.
He might really turn it. We all know he's a badass.
He is
How great would it be if they followed through with that? I bet you Triple H is thinking about that. They'll do that. They'll do that eventually. They will.
So what'd you think of AEW Dynamite?
Dynamite is what it is. I mean, it sometimes it's got a few good things. Sometimes I don't know what to think about it half the time. I feel like it's just a watered down WCW half the time. Look, I don't go out of my way for what they're trying to sell me. I'm not interested in Wheeler. I'm just Wheeler Yuta. I'm just not interested in him. I mean, you got MJF there, and you're using it. I don't understand.
I have to say, you really saw when Wheeler and MJF in their exchange, you really saw such a difference in skills.
One's one of the greatest talkers of his, if not the greatest talker of. He might be the greatest talker of this generation. Yeah. I'm that high on MJF. I really am. Mike shakes his head when I say it, but I mean he knows that he's got an it factor. But I'm just like out of my mind with MJF. Great talker.
Wheeler, great wrestler. I'm not going to say he's not.
Of course. So.
That's all he's got.
You're halfway home. What else you got?
Yeah, that's it.
You're halfway home.
The hometown crowd there last night,
right.
That's the only thing that saved him from looking pretty silly.
Or as you said here, real embarrassment. Yeah. Real embarrassment. Yeah, no, MJF is great. I just don't understand why they're wasting MJF right now with this. What's this chip he keeps threatening me? Is it Tony Khan? Because I really believe that at the end it's going to be revealed that Tony Khan was working with him all along, and they're going to be like,
it's the corporate Vince ministry.
Yeah, it's something like that. You know that this is Tony Khan's fantasy. You know that, right? He wants in the show, truly in the show. And I think that that's how he's going to do this. It's very interesting. Does he really think he can be another Mr. McMahon, though? How about that question?
He will never be Mr. McMahon.
You've got to be kidding me.
He cannot fill his shoes. There's no way. No. He better start working out now.
Yeah, and who's this Stone Cold Steve Austin, anyway? Like there would be one. Are you kidding me?
Nobody right now.
Anybody seen Wardlow? What's up with Wardlow? I thought he was the next Goldberg. What did they do over there? They had him beat MJF. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Going to be?
Did they capitalize on that push?
Yeah, no.
Did they capitalize on that push?
No.
Why is Keith Lee? Remember Keith Lee's maximum moment, and I'm sure you'll agree. Royal Rumble, staring across from Lesnar. Oh God, the fans were like, "Oh God."
Here it goes.
Do you really think that they've allowed him to hit those heights in AEW? He's a tag team wrestler. But they scream about opportunity. The AEW fans, they scream about it. They're probably convincing themselves that his tag team run was better than the moment that he stared across from Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. In what universe?
Yeah, let's see. It's in front of 2,000 fans or in front of 30,000 fans?
My God, what a moment that was. That was, to me, the optimum thing. It's almost a shame that Keith Lee didn't get a chance to follow through with that sort of career.
Ja Will says Keith Lee needs to lose 100 pounds.
Absolutely.
PJ Taines.
Maybe 75.
Yeah, Keith Lee's aged 10 years and 10 months.
He has, yeah. No, he has. And also there's as a New York Jet fan, Mekhi Becton factor when it comes to Keith Lee. When is that weight going to completely betray him? Because he's known for, as Mike has said, smaller guys' moves. So what happens when the body says to him with that weight, nope, no more. I can't see him doing it when he's 40, if you know what I'm getting at. So
Maria says Riddle may get a push if he turns heel.
I could see it. Riddle's getting the push now. Now.
RJ agrees with you and says Riddle needs to drop the stoner, bro, and turn heel.
Yes, the same way, unfortunately, that although Elias' guitar gimmick will be embraced, of course, upon return, he needs to lose that eventually. I would have liked to have seen more out of him getting belts and getting more of a push. So, have you seen that white rabbit? There's a white rabbit in the studio.
Where? What?
He's around here somewhere. Oh. It's weird, though. He looks kind of like Bray Wyatt, but I can't be sure. Is that going to be the next internet rumor? Bray Wyatt appears on the Monte and the Pharaoh show underneath the table?
All right.
Or something like that?
So
it better be Bray. It better be.
So, Spidey, how are we looking over there? We ready for a break there?
That means yes when he puts his stomach
up. All right. Hey, everybody.
Usually,
we'll be back in just a minute.
We will see you in a secular second. Secular?
The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by
Because wine is your second favorite 4-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV in Long Island. So,
Where in Long Island?
Ronkonkoma.
Yeah, you did it! And he's been afraid to say Ronkonkoma because you were saying it all sorts of different ways before we got on the air. Sounded like Andre the Giant, kind of. It was interesting. Can you do Andre? Do you do imitations?
No, not usually, but
You don't do imitations? Not at all? You didn't sit in your room as a kid? Oh, let me tell you something, brother.
I don't think
You didn't
anybody
do stuff
didn't.
like that?
I don't think anybody didn't, try and be a Macho Man Randy Savage. Or,
Okay. Give me a hey yo. Can you do a hey yo? Like you did on the phone. Go ahead.
How about doing it? Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hey, yo.
Like something like
Hey yo.
You sound like Rocky Balboa. Oy.
So
Hey, he ain't playing.
So
What do we got? What do we
Wrestling Inc. reports that Saraya.
Yeah, Soraya. That's I got rid of Soraya last week.
has signed a 3-year contract.
2 pills every 3 hours.
And the money signed indicates that she is going to be wrestling in some capacity.
3-year contract. What do you think of that? Because I'm like, wow, you guys really got money to throw away. 3 years?
So yeah, but I
Dude,
don't know.
no, seriously, the length of that contract shocked me because of her health and the fact that she ain't no killer on the mic. Let's get real.
I gotta call
She
that
ain't no
out.
killer on the mic.
Last night, her rust on that mic really showed. It was absolutely horrible.
Yep. And honestly, when they brought her back recently in WWE, I didn't think she was that great on the mic either.
And then she
And I
came
love
out
her. I love
complaining
Paige,
about
but gotta be honest.
her former boss and how she was so happy with her new boss, and he was letting her do stuff her way.
Her way.
And then she booked a
Because she was so repressed. What a disappointing Hall of Fame WWE career that was. Go ahead. These people.
Then she booked
ingrate.
She booked a lumberjack match for the women.
She booked who made a booker? Is that gave her that role?
Hey, Tony Khan thinks so highly of her.
She's booking already?
That's what she said.
Dude, this is. If you thought her rate of error, as on the mic on SmackDown was bad, wait till we see this. 3 years of this.
That lumberjack match really showed off the difference in caliber of wrestlers between WWE and AEW in that women's division.
And speaking of legendary WWE women performers, did you know that Sasha Banks is no longer Sasha Banks?
Yeah, I saw she changed her name back.
Dude, I'm fucked up by this. I'm disappointed.
Is she coming back? Is she not coming
It doesn't
back?
sound like it if she's not going to be Sasha Banks anymore. Now she's Mercedes-Benz. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
That's her real name, though, not Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes something, yeah.
Yeah, Mercedes something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
why?
It's like
she really ain't into wrestling.
Morgan's
dude.
real name is something like Giovanni Daddio.
Giovanni Daddio?
Yeah.
Oh, Mamma Mia.
So I'm like, that's almost like
Yeah, that is rough. No. But you know what, though? Good for Sasha Banks. If this is what she wants, I wish she'd make it clear, though, because I would like to see her back. I actually love Sasha Banks. So I'm a little disappointed. And what is Naomi doing in the meantime? I'm going to walk the red carpet with my friend. No longer Sasha Banks. That's what she's doing.
But she always has an in back there because of
Does she?
Of her husband.
You think so?
mean,
Sure?
she
You
should-
sure about that? This was not cool what those two did. Triple H's father-in-law is still Vince.
Yeah.
I don't think he's too happy about that. I think he's very fond of both of them, but I don't think he's too thrilled about
Yeah,
it.
'cause you look at how fond he is of Brock Lesnar,
He's very fond of Brock Lesnar.
but they hate Sable.
Well, Sable suit them.
Yeah, so it's just that
Yeah, isn't that weird how they subdivide? Hey, look, business is business.
you have to give
Here's
Vince
an
credit.
interesting one. Brock, okay, dude, we've done everything with Brock, right? He's come back so many times, right? What if the last fresh thing is Brock's final return is with his wife? Could you imagine? No, seriously, could you imagine?
Yeah.
You think they'd ever do it?
No.
Well, I know Brock would be like, no, but could you see Triple H like, hey, why not? It's if we keep bringing you back, it's going to be like Goldberg. They're going to be like, you again? But you got to keep
you're right,
a little fresh.
Because Triple H, we don't know what that relationship was, but we know that if it's Vince there, she's never going to be
but Vince
mentioned.
isn't there. Well, Vince isn't there anymore.
'cause they said
He
that-
already destroyed NXT 2.0, so it's a new dawn. Obviously, this is Triple H's watch now, and I couldn't be happier. I'm thrilled that Triple H is in charge. Thrilled. Because it could have been Disney. And then we're all in trouble.
Gosh,
And then
please
we're all in
no.
trouble.
Please, no.
Now, what's this about a Mount Rushmore? I really want to get to this.
So,
Go ahead, you
listen.
nerd. Tell me about your nerdy list that you think should be instead
I'm not
of
saying
Stone
it's-
Cold and Hulk Hogan.
Listen, there's
and,
nothing
you know,
wrong with
Ric
with
Flair.
all these modern wrestlers out
Right.
there. But when you go back into the early parts of the 20th century,
Right.
there's a lot of names out there that
yes.
do not get discussed. You have
True.
You have guys like Lou Thez.
Let's do one at a time here
All right.
because they deserve this. Okay. By the way, this was your idea, not mine, which I find shocking because usually I come up with this and Mike laughs at me because and rightfully so. This is the age of the tribal chief. What the fuck are we talking about George Hackenschmidt for? But anyway, Lou Thez, the first name you threw out, I do in principle. Of course, he could be on a Mount Rushmore because he was the face of the NWA in their formative years and was the champion of the NWA pretty much through the entire 1950s. He was to the NWA in the 50s what Vern Gagne was to the AWA in the 50s into the 60s, and what Bruno was to the WWF in the 60s and the 70s. That's how important Lou Thez is.
Okay, well, that's
how important.
You brought up another really important name there.
Yeah, George Hackenschmidt. Well, that goes back much earlier. I mean, as far as George Hackenschmidt, but this guy was, performing in front of thousands of people during his day.
Yeah, well known. I mean, some of the first matches that were ever broadcast.
Yep, during his day, Strangler Lewis, who, if I'm not mistaken, we owe a world of gratitude to Strangler Lewis just for Bugs Bunny cartoons alone, because every time Bugs was in the ring with a wrestler, it was patterned after Ed Strangler Lewis.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Bugs had to fight him. But these guys, honestly, though, these guys were selling out matches at like Yankee Stadium type 100 years ago. I mean, almost 100 years ago.
Isn't that scary?
It makes sense to me because pro wrestling, just like boxing, had its audience and always has. It's always had its audience, always. Buddy Rogers, you mentioned. Now, I got to be honest, I don't feel that Buddy Rogers, as far as historical impact, is with these guys. Okay. I think he's in the next. I think he's up there. Do not get me wrong, but I can't put Buddy Rogers with Hackenschmidt, Strangler Lewis, or Lou Thez. And you missed Vern Gagne. We need Vern Gagne.
You brought him up earlier.
Yeah, because Vern Gagne owned the whole northern portion of this country, and he did during the 50s and 60s. This guy was an Olympic. Olympian. We all love Kurt Angle. I mean, this guy was an Olympian, or close to being an Olympian, if not, a gold. He wasn't a gold medal winner, but the guy was real. He had great credence, credibility. And, so to me, it's like Thez, Vern Gagne, Bruno Sammartino. Honestly, if you want to talk territory days, those are the three. Bruno, Thez from the NWA, Gagne from the AWA.
When we were talking earlier, you brought up Gorgeous George.
Biggest star of all, especially as far as, when wrestling was finally appearing in people's homes because of television, which really came into true existence as far as, does anyone have one of these things, was like the late 40s is when it really started. And by the early 50s to mid-50s, somebody on the block had a TV, maybe a couple of people if you were lucky. I'm not that old, but I'm being told. I remember being told by my father and my grandfather about those awesome days. And in the early days of television, during the honeymooners time period of like 1955 or so, pro wrestling was the most popular thing on television. Keep in mind, there's only 13 channels. The Wrestling Weekly show, because of Gorgeous George, who was the first primetime entertainer pro wrestling-wise. He was the first. So, he really was before Hulkamania and all these other things. This guy was wealthy, drove the nicest cars, was just a huge star. An immeasurably huge star. Because of the greatness of Hulk Hogan, not only did Hulk Hogan erase almost in many ways the legacy of Gorgeous George, he almost in many ways erased the legacy to some. I'm not saying it to all, but he minimized the legacy of a Gorgeous George or a Lou Thez or a Vern Gagne or a Bruno Sammartino because Hulkamania became Super Bowl sized. That's when pro wrestling became what a lot of people hold against it today. Mainstream. Truly mainstream.
You don't think you wouldn't say before the 50s wrestling was mainstream?
No, because mainstream was, it's hard to identify what mainstream was, but from what I can identify, baseball in the 1920s and boxing were truly mainstream. They were featured constantly in the papers, and they were able to sell out, whether it was Jack Dempsey or what, they were able to sell out Yankee Stadium type places. Wrestling starts to get more of a momentum thanks to boxing in the 30s. From what I've, studied myself. But yes, there was always, the occasional huge draw, especially for a guy like Hackenschmidt. So, but as far as mainstream, like in the eye, the eyes of the public, like the way the nation paid attention to Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak in 1941, no, not on that level, if you know what I'm getting at. So.
Rick B says, nice job, great show, guys, and get well soon to Mike.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rick. Thank you, bro.
Vern Gagne's real first name was Laverne. I bet nobody knew that. Thanks,
Did he ever team with Shirley?
Thanks,
I had
Phil.
to.
Let's see. So, the only other thing I had to bring up tonight was I know that you're a big Chris Jericho fan, and I wanted to ask you, especially with this latest title he's garnered.
You mean the Ring of Honor World Champion?
Where do you think he stands as in a rank as an all-time wrestler?
Wow. And Spidey just flashed me the 5 minutes, and honestly, we could sit here for an hour. You know that, right, when it comes to this question. Okay, well, let's try to think of it logically. As far as his resume goes, what has the man not won? He's won everything.
Everything that's available.
He's won everything that matters. What was the most impressive part of his championship resume? He is the first undisputed heavyweight champion of the world that united every major belt that we ever knew about.
And all the previous belts.
And boy, did I collect that night, because everybody else picked the guys he beat, and I think it was Stone Cold and The Rock. I cleaned up that night. I cleaned up. They call Shawn Michaels what? Mr. WrestleMania?
Yep.
Who had a legendary match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. What has he not done? Has he transcended the sport to become an icon to regular folks who may not necessarily even watch wrestling?
He's a producer.
Yes, he has. Whether it's Dancing with the Stars or all the other talented things Chris Jericho does. Fozzy.
Yeah, he does.
Judas was a hit.
Oh,
A hit. He finally cranked out a hit after all these years. I used to look at Fozzy and go, where's your fucking hit? And he gave us one. He gave us a great song. Finally. Very proud of him.
Voiceovers for all those documentaries.
Yep.
I mean, he's an executive producer on all kinds of things.
How many times has he reinvented himself?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, going back to the Y2J era, I wasn't a fan.
Oh, I was.
But now I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, this guy has done everything.
And let's not forget that the night that, it's funny, the night that Jericho debuted on SmackDown.
I forgot about that.
I was so nervous for him as a fan, because I was a fan of his in Nitro. I loved how he tortured Goldberg. I was so pissed that he was never given the proper push, and I knew he was a star. So when I heard that these rumors were flying around that he was going to debut on Vince's program, I was nervous. I was like, God, I hope that they book him right. God, I hope that he right away gets the chance to shine, because if you don't handle this right, everything could change because of it. But there it was, the countdown, the fans go ballistic, and who's his program with right away? The Rock. And I knew right then, Vince knows what we know. And they always criticize, Vince doesn't see what the fan. Vince knew that small little Chris Jericho, as people would give him shit behind the scenes, you're not big enough and all that. Vince knew he was a fucking star. Credit to Vince on that one, because that was one of the biggest pops ever. Break the wall down, the tight, Jericho's got his arms, the place went ballistic. He's one of the all-time greats. Absolutely. Where he falls, we need another 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
and we probably have a minute, right, Jared? Right. But, yeah, that's the deal. I'm not sure exactly where he falls, but as far as my personal favorites, he's got to be in my top 5, top 10. He's one of my all-time favorites. Love him.
You're going to have to do one of those head-to-heads with him against some top guys.
Jericho versus anybody. He will beat everybody, and don't you forget it, ever!
So, well, I think that's about it tonight.
You made it. Well done.
We did it.
You survived.
Yeah.
L'chaim.
Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. And I'll turn it over to Jimmy to get us out of here.
All righty. I just want to say once again to my partner, get well, brother. I love you, bro. You've been watching Not Monte and the Pharaoh. And until next week, this is definitely Not Monte, and I'm the Pharaoh. And as I always say, you want to say later? Say later.
Later.